Hi guys, and welcome to Angling For You, and today you join us with a suicidal acrobatic skimmer for the first fish. And today we're on Molly's Pond at Birkwood. Absolutely suicidal skimmer as the first fish. And this is really what we're after today. You know, this video is all about what do we do when the carp are spawning, and how can we target those other fish, and that's a lovely little skimmer. So let's get into it and see what we can do. Right guys, so at last you're back with me on the bank. I know I've done a lot of product reviews and things like that, and I just appreciate you bearing with me. Now, I have been out a few times on the bank, not been able to take the camera on the matches, just maybe not gone the right way, or just the weather's been hindering. So it is nice to get out and film. Work has been crazy, that's why I've not been out to film. So today is about meat fishing. Now it's a little bit different than normal. We've got a few different ways, flavours and types of meat that we might not normally use over the conventional styles fishing meat. And why am I fishing meat today? So I'm on a venue, Molly's, which is a mixed fishery, and as you all know, it's spawning time for the carp, and they're not always that interested. So meat's a high attractor, and bream and skimmers love it. So my idea today, there's some good roach in here, there's some good skimmers, bream in here, and then maybe we'll pick up the old F1 and a carp, who knows. And it really just gives me a chance of having a good day when the fish are spawning. There's no point chasing the spawning fish around, they're just not interested at all. So it just makes for a better day's fishing. So I'm going to run you through the rig, but before I do that, I'm just going to have a little talk about the bait we've got in front of us. And it's pretty grim, I'll be honest. Some of it's quite nice and some of it's pretty grim. If you look on the actual thumbnail of the video, you'll see me holding this sort of pork pate style meat, chopped meat slash pate, which I got from the old Lidl. Now, normally I would use a compressed chopped meat to use as my feed bait, and then I would use a spam because it's a bit denser to hook on, to use on the hook. But today I didn't have those when I went into the supermarket yesterday, so I've got two other things, and I thought they would make a different kind of video. So the pate itself, I've chopped it up loosely, but I'm pressing it together to make it into a paste. So we'll hopefully try and have a few fish on that at some point. And then along with that, I've just got some normal hot dogs. I got them in the vacuum packed ones, about £1.20 or something like that for 10 of them. And all I've done is dice them up, and I'm sometimes going to dice them up even smaller if you've got smaller fish in the peg. And what I've done is I've got some just completely plain. I've got some with a liquid Scopex, which is, this is a clear liquid Scopex, and this is a yellow flavoured Scopex, and these are all what Jamie sent me, Jamie Harrison, to test out, so I thought it'd be a good one to do it on. The other two I've got is a polony oil, which is great, we use that on rivers anyway to flavour as meat, and also a sweet krill mix. So they're all in these three individual, along with the plain and along with the paste meat. Now really importantly when you do this, just to have a little bit of water, just to swill your hands in and to you know, get rid of all that crap before you rub it onto your towel. It just aids with your fishing, it's not getting everywhere, and it helps you out. Now I've got some dry pellets here which I don't really need to use, and I've soaked a couple of little tubs here of 4mm pellets. You can use any you want on here, so I've got loads from Lindome the other day, so that's what I'm using, and I'm feeding primarily the 4mm, and I'm just putting the odd little grain of the meat in, and sometimes a little bit of the paste, and I'm just feeding that every time I go in, because it's, you know, it's warm weather, we're trying to just keep them going, so that's the whole idea with that. The rig is pretty simple. I've got my power kit on, which is a little bit longer than my edge kits, which is, you know, is fine for what we're doing today. And you know, the power micron is what I've got on, and it's around the 016 kind of thickness, which you might think's quite thick, but it's not really. You've got a chance of hooking carp, and you know, if it does, it could go other side of the pond, and I need to be able to control it. And that goes right down to an 8-inch hook link, and that's 014. So you know, what nicely balanced, and that's a 16's GPMB, which is a barbless eyed hook, like so. And the shotting pattern's quite simple, to be honest. What I've got is a shot just at the other side of where the connection of the loop to loop is. I've got one which is just 4 inches from the hook, and they're number 10s, and I've got a strung out of 4 number 8s, and that just allows me to just get a positive reaction on the float. It's keeping the line tight. Now, meat, as you know, is quite notorious bait for floating about and moving about a little bit, so spreading that bulk just keeps it anchored to the bottom, and that's really as simple as it gets. I'm picking from individual bits of meat and in between paste. Like I said, we've just started, so I've potted in and I've had that fish off the first pot. So what I'm going to do firstly is get back out there. I might cut some of these meats to a little bit smaller size unless any carp show up, and hopefully we'll have some, and you'll join me in a couple of seconds with the magic of editing, and we'll be back out, and hopefully we'll have another fish. Right guys, before we go back in, I forgot to mention we've got a 10 to 12 elastic. It's a map dual core elastic, and a little trick. We've got a little band which is slid up the top kit, and that allows you to just hook on. So especially in summer, it's not pulling out loads of elastic and making it dry out and crack, which you don't want. And you know, various companies do their own version of these, but for everybody's got spare elastic when they make the top kits. I keep it all in a little case, and for me it's just nice and easy. Now, like the meat with it is a hot dog, that we're going to use the Scopex flavour. I'm going to go with first. I caught that fish on the Scopex one, so we'll have another little go at that. And sometimes it's people ask me this a lot about flavours, and do I vary flavours, and I tend to stay around the 3 flavours that you see on my box, to be honest. I do like Scopex, I always have done. I do like a sort of meaty one, and I do like a krilly size, a crabby kind of flavouring, and that's what I've gone with today. And we've got obviously some plain as well, and we'll just play about with it as we go on. Now, this session today is just all about enjoyment. I'm just trying to have a nice relaxing day's fishing, and you know, it hasn't been going my way lately. I lost I fished 2 matches lately. Bennies were rock hard with the sunshine, and I had no ripple, and everyone on our bank did not very well, and obviously the spawning had kicked off. Typical angling for you members day turmoil, but and I fished an evening match, and it's my own fault. There's a lot of stockies that were in willows, and I went for them and the F1s, and I wasn't geared up enough, and I had one which was definitely my PB, and looked around sort of the early 20s and lost it after seeing it near the net, which was a little bit painful. So not had the best of times lately. So just a nice relaxing session is definitely what the doctor ordered. Right guys, on the pace, the meat pace, is another skimmer. Nice little positive bite, that one. They are quick, these bites though, so you just got to be ready for them. Another decent little stamp on. This time is decided to suck the oil paste in. And it's just in the top of the mouth. There we go. And we get a nice. Can't really grab him, he's a slippy beast today. Let's lift him up the sideways. There you go. Is he going to play ball? No, he's not. You can see him. He's about 10 ounce. Nice little skimmer. Let's get him back. And for me, it's just continuing to catch nice and steady. I've been baiting up down the margin, so we'll try and give that a little go a bit later on and see what we can do. So let's get some more bait back on and see what we can do. Right guys, this could be a positive or a negative. I have just moved on to a lighter elastic. I've just put on a 6. It could be quite interesting, but it is a hybrid elastic, so it means that it's hollow / solid, and it will stretch like a hollow, but it is a solid elastic. So I've just put a chunk of, this time, krill flavoured meat on there. I'm going to go back out there and see if there's any more skimmers. But I'm just thinking, these light elastics, it's just going to help me. If we're just catching skimmers, yeah, if we hook a carp, it might be a little bit interesting. But if we're catching skimmers, this elastic's probably going to be better for it. Float just a little bit proud. It's almost like someone's taking it or touching it on the way down. So just lift and drop that again. And another acrobatic skimmer, a lovely bite. Just love it when they jump out of water, hilarious. Perfectly hooked. See all that meat in its mouth that it's been eating. Sat on that bait. I'm going to give it one more try out there. I've just been feeding little sort of 15 or so pellets at a time, just down my right and my left edge, and then the odd couple of grains of meat, and I've just been doing that sort of the last 15-20 minutes, just to see if there's anything there. Now we've actually come on a later session, and that's another thing that I was going to talk to you about. In most of the time through the day is when they're most active in spawning and carrying on, and if there is any chance of them having a chew, it's usually in an afternoon. So what I tend to do is, if you can do it, if you've got the time to just go out and do what you need to do through the day, and then just come a bit later on, and that's what we've done today. And you know, we've still got plenty of time until it gets to sort of what I'd call almost you know, time for them to really sit down. But you know, we're starting to string a few fish together, and I'm still optimistic that we'll, you know, have the odd carp. But like I said before, it's not always. We all like catching carp. There's plenty of the summer for us to do that, and sometimes it's just nice to catch anything that wants to play. And certainly when the only time you get to go is when it's spawning season, if that's the only time you can go in that week, and there's nothing you can do about it. At least you can try and get something good out of your day. And another thing to mention is also meat is not always allowed on every venue, so do check your venue rules. Like for example, if we went to fish at Lindholm, we wouldn't be allowed to use it. It's not allowed on that certain venue, and you know, that's, you just got to be respectful of fishery rules. There we go, on the paste, the meat paste. It's only a little one as well, which is quite funny. Ooh, not sitting still. It's just hooked itself in the fin, and it's not coming out without a fight. Okay. And another suicidal flying skimmer. We've had some acrobatic skimmers today, guys. Another one. Another one that was shocked that there were a knock in that piece of meat. It does make me laugh every time. Hooked perfectly in that top lip. There we go, nice little skimmer. What we'll do is we'll get that back in, see if we can have one more to finish the video off, and who knows, it may be another acrobatical one. So that time, so we've caught on all three meats and the meat paste today. The meat paste seems to be attracting more of the littler fish at the moment that are just sort of pecking at it, and we have had a couple of fish on it, but it's more when the bigger fish are feeding, or sometimes the bigger stamper skimmers can settle on it. But at the moment we've seemed to be getting the better stamper skimmers on the different flavoured meats, and they've taken all three flavours today, which is great. But it's always just good to have that interchangeable. If you feel that, you know, you've waited too long, you can always change it for another flavour or for a plain. It's, you know, it just gives you something to go. It gives you something to try out. Sometimes you find that they'll settle on one flavour, and you know, that'll do the business. Into another skimmer now. Lovely bite, that one. No acrobatics this time though. Lovely with this nice light elastic on as well, and that's why we swapped halfway through. And just, you're not dragging them in, you're not bumping them. That's a beautiful one to finish. Hooked again perfectly in that top lip. In the bone of the top lip. There we go. Another nice one to finish. Let's get him back. So guys, it's been a nice little session. I mean, I'm going to be continuing to fish on into the day. I've got a few hours left, but I really appreciate you joining me, and hopefully this has given you a few more different ideas on meat and a few different ways of maybe catching when fish are spawning in that difficult time. So if you could join us on the Facebook group, that'd be fantastic. We're 6,500 members now. Plenty of advice, plenty of fun, plenty of live streams, members days, all sorts of great stuff there. It's not a banner site, it's aimed at family orientated, good old fishing. And if you want to join us on the Instagram and just put post your photos or see what we're doing, then go on to angling_for_you. And if you want to look through the playlists, see what other things we've got going on, lots of different reviews, lots of different fishing videos, then have a look through those playlists and see what you'd like to have a look at. And until the next one, guys, if you'd like, share and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. And until the next one, tight lines.